That was a funny bumper sticker. It wasn't very good, but it says, "I don't know what makes you stupid, but it really works." That's what the bumper sticker said. Oh, I could use that in so many places and so many times. But anyways, g'day tubes, how's she going? So we're just not really doing a whole lot today. Actually, I'm gonna go dig a hole for Friday. I want to get out and do it today because it's like -10 out right now, and the ground on the top is kind of hardened up again. It'd be better for driving my machinery on rather than when it thaws out again. And well, I'll probably still make a mess because it was pretty gushy yesterday, and it only kind of froze up overnight. So, but anyways. Just doing a little test here. I just come in and I felt both sides of the new door here, and she seems to be, hang on a second, I gotta turn my little Dewey there, seems to be insulated really well. 23.5 we'll say on this side, and on the cold side here we've got 9 degrees, 10 degrees. Now what about out here where it's really cold? 3 degrees. So there's a little wee bit of heat getting through the door, but it's like 10-degree difference, so that's good. I like that. Silicone seems to have come out not too bad. It's a little soft and gushy yet. This was like a hunk of the block that was gone. I had to fill that in, so I don't know what I'm gonna do about that yet. But outside it hasn't cured up really too much yet, and especially last night it'd be really not good. So not good. I should have maybe waited until it warmed up like good outside, and then it probably would have been dried by now. But eventually it'll dry. He'll just have to not touch it for a little while because I think it's got a skin over it, like it's skinned up, but underneath that it's still pretty gushy. So but anyways, I don't know what we're doing today. I haven't had anything planned. I don't know what. But anyways, maybe I'll think about something while I'm out digging there. I should go get her started, I guess. I should maybe fire this guy up too. Get him warmed up and get him going. I got to lay out some boards first back there. And good to go. So, we'll go dig and then see what we get into when we get back. Alright, well, got the hole dug. Good, chopped through it pretty good. Wasn't wicked frozen like it has been, but anyways. I thought what we could do maybe is have a look at our light here. Got a problem with one of the wires, I think, that feeds the light on the right here. It seems to work off and on if, I jiggle the wires and stuff around, so I kind of think there's a really bad corroded wire or something in there, or a broken wire or something that's not making a good connection. So we will have to remove it off the tractor first here though. Get it inside on the bench. It's good because I can take the whole socket and everything off, and there's a nice plug there. I can just unplug her and bring her in. Alright, so I'm just going to go up here and check the other side of this plug. If that wiring is okay, it should be flashing. I got my 12 volt light Dewey here. You plug her into the socket with the sharp part here, and You just ground the other guy out to the frame and it should start flashing the handle on this. Now, gotta find somewhere to ground it. That's the only downfall. Flash from there, so that's the running light. Okay, so I kind of know which one to check. Alright, we're gonna have to tear this light apart a bit too. Alright, we'll have to probably take this apart. I'm pretty sure it's not the bulb because I found if I was turning these and stuff in there it would actually work, so pretty sure the bulbs are okay in this guy. Nice if I had a gun, but better not use that on these things. I might as well take both off of here. So the one that was flashing there, which isn't flashing in here, is the red wire. And I think I do remember messing with the red wire a little bit there, you know, trying to get it to work, and there must be something corroded or something broken somewhere. I don't know how a wire would break like that if it's been sitting in there. These things are really all sealed down. Oh wait, they're both loose. Okay. That sounds like it broke, but actually didn't. So the red wire is coming through. Yes, and into this guy. Everything looks nice and good and clean in there, but the bulbs look okay. Okay, let me figure out how to get this guy to continuity testing. It should be that one there. When you touch these together. There. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's touching them together, so that lets you know if something's screwy or what. So if I touch there, yeah, that bulb's all good, so that's good. So if I touch, that's good. Now this is going to be the tricky part here to get this. Interesting. It's either that or a ground is weird here. Where the heck is this ground? This one here, so they actually join together, so we'll test. I'm going to turn this furnace off here. You can't probably hear the rattling over that. It'll take a minute to finish the cycle, but so that seems good. That seems good. Now what about the ground? Need like 50 hands. ground. Really? What's the ground here? There's 2 grounds there. That's interesting. Well, I know that's not grounding out the positive to that, so that's good. Yeah, that seems good. Well, that seems kind of weird to me. Just trying to think now. I think. I'm not too sure exactly what's happening here. Top one should have the 2 elements, filaments I guess they call them, in there. One for signal, one for running light. That seems odd though, because wouldn't you need a running light on the red and a brake light too? To me these bulbs seem like they're in wrong. Well, I guess we could try something. I don't think I can switch these because they are different. Like these only go in. Maybe they are, I don't know. So let's try the amber lens. Red. Okay, let's go hook that back up and see what happens. Well, it's back in and it's working. I'm not exactly too sure what happened there, because I know I noticed it wasn't working one day. And I pulled those lenses off. I thought I had a blown bulb or something. And they both looked fine. trying to remember, they both look good. I think I had them out testing them too, and I must have put them back in wrong. But it's funny how I had a problem before though, and now everything seems fine. Now I know there's one problem somewhere in there as well. There's supposed to be lights come on when you hit the brakes. Hit the brakes! And there's a little brake switch under there which is maybe malfunctioning. It's pretty buried though. I'll see if I can show you. But, you know, 98% of the time you don't use brakes on this thing anyways. You just let the hydraulics yourself down, and very rare I actually do use brakes on this, which is kind of odd. But way up underneath the brake pedals here, way up, somewhere way up under there is the little switch. I don't even know if I can get you even up in this area, but right there, a little switch that when you push your brake down, you can hear it clicking, but it's not doing its due back on the lights on the brakes. They're supposed to turn on when you step on the brake, and it's not doing nothing, so I don't know why it's doing that, but the signals work, the 4-ways work, the running lights work when you got the lights on, they're working. So I think everything's working. There's just a little issue with that somewhere. I don't know if it's got a bad fuse in here or what. Rear work lights, front work lights, tail lights, brake lights, number 4. Number 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is that number 10. And number 10 is, I think, fried. Very interesting. Let's go do a test on this. Yeah, I can't seem to understand why. Before I was having a problem, before I took the bulbs out of it even, that I had no signals on that side, but I don't think it's anything to do with this guy, but let's go do a continuity on this guy. Here. Oh. Oh, huh? Oh, it just shut off. Or you can test them on the top here too, so we don't have to take them out of the dewey, but I think that one's blown. Now, I do have a kit of these. Let me go grab one. Okay, fuse is. I don't know why I blew that fuse. That's kind of interesting. I'll be interested to see if it blows another one here all of a sudden. Red is 10, I do believe. I've got like 3 of these kits somewhere. I always seem to be needing fuses. So that one's a little different style. I think that'd be an original one. A little different style, but let's test the continuity on this guy. Oh. 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 Well, maybe that's all it is. Let's just go plug that in. See what happens. Maybe it'll just go and fry another one. I don't know. I don't know why it would have fried it anyways, but everything looks good and clean back there, like it's not getting any weird resistance or anything. Okay. Put him in. It didn't go. And let's see here. Hey, we got brake lights again. Huh. I don't know why that would have fried. That's weird. But anyways, problem solved. Once again. Yeah, it's a little fuse center. There's not a really good spot. It gets kind of crap and stuff blowing up onto them and stuff, but I don't know. What can we do? So, yeah, this thing dug pretty good this morning. I had, well, yesterday was like, and the day before was really warm out here, right? It was like, I guess I can shut these off now. It was like 10 degrees out here yesterday, which is 10 degrees above freezing, right? Trying to pull my ladder in one hand here, not much fun. 10 degrees above freezing. Oh, And sorry for shooting right at the floor. But we got our ladder in. 10 degrees above freezing, so I actually had about 5 inches that was melted into the ground, and then about a foot and, yeah, maybe 14 inches after a frost to bash through. So we did it. We got through it, no problem. A little bit of a pain in the, but you know, it worked. It was all right. So that seems good, I guess. And the other thing I should order for this maybe is that little handle for the signal thing, although I don't hardly ever use signals either, but I should probably get one ordered. And just gonna lock this for now. And I guess that's that. So we fixed her, but I kind of had to sort of figure out what was going on there. I wasn't really too sure, but it's funny that fuse looks melted though, so I don't know. It's been in there, I guess, since 2005, that fuse, so she's done pretty well. Close up my fuse pack here until next time. And we should be good to go. Just hanging right up here. So I do have like 3 of those packs somewhere. I'm also looking for, if I had a broken wire on this thing here today, I was going to have to solder in a new piece of wire. I've got a soldering kit box here somewhere, and I couldn't find it up at the house. It's usually where I keep it. I thought, okay, maybe it's in the shed, because I did some stuff in the shed there. I looked out there, no, nothing. So I put her somewhere where I thought, oh, I'll never lose it there, and can't remember where it is now. So I had a backup plan. I got another box here on the back, which actually I should take off before I park this thing. And it's more like a plumbing box, but it's got some solder and some flux and stuff in it. This one here, let's have a look at the box of copper fittings and stuff too. Pretty handy to have. So I got a box for that, a box for plumbing, a box for electrically stuff, and basically this other little box I'm looking for was my it's not down here, is it? I don't see it anywhere. It's not a big box like this, but it's it was basically boxed with my RC car stuff for soldering. So, you know, there's a little torch. I was gonna have to torch it. I had a little piece cut. I'm like, probably just take the whole box down. So yeah, you know, just plumbing stuff, tees. They all fell out of the bag this morning, of course. The bag all tore it open and stuff. Some elbows, some more stuff from the bathtub stuff. There's a bag of tees they all fell out of. And what happens when you buy a bulk pack? You open the bag to get one out, and then you end up getting about 20 out. But oh man, oh well, they're in there, I guess, no problem. They're not going to be going anywhere else. So yeah, a couple of, you know, ball valve deweys. Whoops. Some more solder, just in case, kind of solder. There's a pretty handy dewey for cleaning your pipes. Yeah, that one, yeah. So when you're doing soldering this, you gotta make sure your deweys are really clean, nice like that, you know, and helps too with that little brush because it kind of scratches the copper a little bit. If you don't, if you don't, the crubbly stuff won't really solder too well at all to the inside of these. You're supposed to do these too. Oh, yeah. This new plastic PEX pipe they're using now must be nice. So we got those both clean. And who if we can. So that probably won't stay there. Okay, so when you want to heat these, you want to heat right here. Get that nice and hot so when you hit your solder there, it sucks it into the heat. Get your fire right too. I should do it now. Should have a damp cloth with you as well, except I don't. Oh crap. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. And clean her off good, because if you don't, the fluxy stuff. Oh, I kind of messed that one up a little bit. I didn't see it go. Oh, maybe I just wiped it off actually onto there. I probably did. If you see the green and crap on this, that's from like the excess copper, or copper, holy cow, solder, and this flux stuff will actually corrode the pipes a little bit. So I kind of didn't do that one too super nice. Actually, it looks sort of like I maybe wiped it. But let's try another one on this end. What the heck? Let's join. I don't do them too much. I don't know how many of these I've actually got left here, so maybe I won't. Oh, I got a couple, I guess, here. These are a little bit bigger than the 1/2 inch for joining the two together. Oh. Quite wash this thing out there. Okay. Almost dropped you. Okay, I might have put too much on again there. Ah, hooah. And that's kind of soldering sort of what I know. Not 101, because there's probably more to it than I know, but it's the way I've always done her. And it seemed to have always come out pretty good. Now I wouldn't know if that's actually going to hold water back, but it's pretty warm, so I kind of imagine it probably would. So that's a 1/2-inch joiner, and they put a little dimply guy there so you can only shove the pipe in so far, which is pretty handy if you shove your pipe one side like over halfway and this one's hardly in, then you don't really have enough bite there for it, right? So she's pretty hot. There's no real way to test it unless you actually had her hooked to water. But looks to me like I got her pretty much soldered all the way around. I don't think I'll be able to turn it. Hot. Oh, hot. Yeah, believe me, it's hot. Of course, you just put a flame at her there, it's probably still going to be hot. She's soldered. Well, I guess that's kind of, I don't know if you'd say old technology now with doing piping and water this way. They all seem to use, well, a lot of them are using that flexible PEX pipe that they have out now, which is like a plastic, food grade, of course, plastic pipe. And you need a special crimper machine to, it's like a pair of big pliers. So say this was your joint, you go and and it crimps her on and away you go. I've never really done any of it, but seen lots of it done, but never done any myself. But I don't know, like, which way do you go? Like, copper's good, they've been using her forever, but it's getting so darn expensive now that, I guess that's maybe one of the reasons why they came out with the PEX. Plus, it's a lot easier just to run a line and, turn it through instead of this way, and then a 90, and then, 90, and whatever you're going with it, right? That PEX you can just kind of drill through and run her through and away you go. Now, they do 90s and stuff too, but, I've seen a lot where they'll just stuff her through like a heating duct vent beside it and down and along, and this, be a friggin' 3 days sitting up like that with this stuff. But that's the way stuff have changed, I guess. So, but didn't think that was gonna fit in there, did you? Oh dear. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know if there's much else going to be happening today. This whole week's been pretty quiet here. Not much going on. I haven't really had any thoughts or ideas of what, to do for a video for yous or whatever. But tomorrow even I got no, I don't have a funeral tomorrow. I got it dug for Friday. I do have one Friday. They called me about possibly doing one on Saturday, but they still haven't got back to me with any finalization-y stuff, so I don't know what's going on with that, but it's getting down to pretty soon where they're going to be out of luck. And it'll have to be next week. But anyways, yeah, so I don't know what their plan was with that. They called me on like Monday. Oh, we might have one for Saturday for you. I'm like, oh, okay. And he never got back to me yet. So I don't know what's going on with that deal. But yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting to me, just talking back on the tractor here, that you know, we had her up to Buddy there. He's just he's not technically John Deere mechanic. He is a general, what would you call him? General, he does like anything. General, wow, I can't think of what it would be called. A general purpose tractor mechanic? General, everything he'll do, you know, Massey Ferguson, he'll do Kubota, he'll do John Deere, he'll do Case, he'll do whatever, you know. You bring it to him and he'll do it. So he's done her for, well, since the 60s, so that's quite a long time. And it's funny he never caught the lights, so obviously didn't look at that. But I don't know, it seemed to dig better today. It's the second time I guess I've used it since we've got her back. He changed the hydraulic fluid in it, and there's apparently a couple of screens that are up inside of the tractor that I didn't even know about. You know, I drained the thing out, and then I guess inside of that there's a couple of screens. You have to take a big access panel-y plate thingy off to get to them. I didn't know about them, or I would have cleaned them when I did it last time too. But he says they were a little gummed up, but they weren't really too bad. But funny enough, though, whatever he has done to it, which could be those screens, it seems to drive stronger. Like you're driving along the road, once before, when you start going up a hill, and it would kind of sort of really back off. It would keep going, like it wouldn't blow right out, but it took forever to get up a hill kind of thing. Or now it seems to charge up pretty good, you know. And actually, I don't even remember it doing like that from new. It's sort of been like I've always known it from new, you know, where it sort of always sucked going up a hill, especially if you're pushing snow or had the big snowblower on. It almost killed the thing, you know. And now I haven't tried a blower, mind you. It seemed to be pretty good. So that, and it always had a problem too, right from new. When you first started up and lift the loader up, it would go fairly smooth, but you could hear that. Now it's smooth. So I don't know. Maybe that was something to do with, maybe these little screens have been bunged since new. I don't know. How the heck would I know? But anyways, yeah, that seems to have improved. Apparently he did test the pressures from the pumps and from the hydraulic pumps, and it's supposed to be a 3,000 psi system in there. And he says it was like maybe a needle's width on his gauge off 3,000 psi. So I'm like, well, that's good. But testing the pumps is good, but actually testing like leak by in the cylinders past, like in the hydraulic cylinders, there's the pistons, and then there's some sealer rings in there. Now if they've sort of gotten worn, it could be technically, when I'm pressuring the side and I'm digging, it could be squirting oil through these piston rings and the piston through to the other side, which isn't pressurized, so you're kind of losing, you know, 50% of your pressure and your power digging right there, right? So that always seemed to be what it was doing. Now it has gotten a little better, I think, not a whole lot. It was better when it was new, but I still think I've got worn out cylinders or worn out pistons and rings in these hydraulic cylinders, and I'll show you. I've got it outside here, it's a little easier to show you what I'm sort of talking about here. So when I'm, I wonder if I should pull it down. Actually, maybe I will. Let's just start it up here, and we'll straighten her out. Okay, so this cylinder here is the one that lifts your whole entire boom. Okay, So you can see it lifting the whole thing. It probably doesn't get as much work as the rest of these. Equal mostly, but maybe not bang on the same. Okay, so what's happening here, I'm thinking, is I'm activating the Dewey up there, sending the hydraulic pressure down to in here, which is filling the cylinder up. And right about now, this piston is probably in at about here somewhere, so this whole thing will be full of oil right now. And actually, let's just shut this off for a sec. I don't have to talk over the sound of it. So basically, that's up a bit high. Hang on. Let's just push this down again. So that's actually opened the valve and let gravity pull that bucket down and push a bit of the fluid back through. Push this rod up, push this piston probably to about here somewhere now. Maybe over there somewhere. But anyways, so when I'm digging, I'm at the hole, you know, digging, and it's pressurizing this really hard. Like, I don't know, the pressure in here would probably be atrocious. It's weird how they measure stuff like this, because it's a 3,000 psi, so probably I think it is this line here would be maximum about 3,000, maybe probably around the 3,000 I would say. But when they goes through pushing on here and then all the geometry of this and pushes back here, it actually increases this, so my curl power to about 6,000 psi is what the book says. Anyways, so what I think is happening is when I'm digging and I'm, you know, at a hole, okay, we'll use the side of this, so this is the side of my hole, and that's it, she's not going anymore. It's pushing oil into here to the push side, and then the piston here, we'll say, is about here. It's getting by the rings and coming over to this side, filling up this side. Now, just trying to think here. I'm trying to think when I'm digging. You don't generally notice anything else other than a power loss. Like before, I could and just, you know, shred it. You know, it would just tear that stuff up like it wasn't even there. But I don't know. I think this has got a big problem here. Now, I know pretty much about 98% sure that he never tested anything back on the backhoe part. He just tested the stuff on the pumps. Well, if the pumps are fine, yeah, but if you still got a problem back here, you're still gonna have a problem back here. Now, the only reason I can tell, these ones it's a little hard to tell, because these ones I think, I haven't replaced this is an original. It's hard to tell this one if he's had it off, but this one here, I can guarantee he hasn't had this one off, because it's still lined up where they've marked it with their pencil thing, and it's not scratched up or nothing. It's still all greased up, you know. So he hasn't had this one off and tested that one. I know that for sure. So that kind of upsetted me a little bit, but I don't know. Whatever he can do, I guess. But you know, these ones are a little more hard to tell because you know, there's no paint on these that would get marked up if you're taking them off, right? So, but definitely I think this one here, yeah, this one here is going into the top. That would be your main one that's taking all the abuse, pusher. And this other one here that's going in over here, I think they should have been tested. Now this, you can see the difference in the size of the lines, right? A lot huger, and that one's skinnier because you don't generally use much force when you're back pressuring. And let me think now, I'm trying to think of some of the hydraulic experience I've had. There's less surface area in this side than there is on this side, because this is basically an empty hollow tube on top of this piston. Down in here you've got this rod going inside, which is taking up, you know, like this much of the room in there, plus you've also got well, yeah, it's just basically the rod, and there's a couple of little things in here. And so this rod takes up like a huge amount of room there, right? And I'm just trying to think too, I couldn't tell you size-wise and stuff, but you can see, you know, the difference, you know, this with nothing in it up there compared to this. So if you've got too much fluid going in this side, it'll open too fast. So they've really got her set up, you know, like perfect and stuff. I'll tell you though, if you get this thing cranked up and you flick her, she'll flick open pretty quick. Because technically it should open up faster than it closes, because you've got a lot less area in here compared to this whole entire empty cylinder above the piston here that will open and close. So that's sort of the, you know, some of the basic hydraulic-y stuff that I know about. But I would really like to get a rebuild kit for this guy and rebuild the inside of that, and hopefully the it doesn't wear off inside of the cylinder, or you're totally screwed in and you have to replace the whole cylinder, you know. I'm pretty sure the rings would wear first, but I don't know if they're wearing the same. It's hard to say. So, but this cylinder here, and I got the price from John Deere, so you get this, you know, of course the rod, no hoses or nothing, just the cylinder, was like $3,200. I'm like, holy crap. 32, no, sorry, I'm wrong. The stabilizer ones, which are smaller, were $3,200, and this one was like $2,800, $2,700. But I'm like, holy crap! And I can't remember the prices of the rest of them. I just remember down because I was wanting to, you know, see about that one the most. But you know, they got this one. This one's the biggest one. It's pretty massive, huge. This guy. So I think the rod diameter is the same on everything, though. I think, yeah, they all look about the same. This one I think should have had a bigger piston and cylinder in it. I think this one should be like this. I wonder how I can measure it. I don't have a micrometer, do we? But I know for a fact this one's a lot bigger than this guy down here. It should have had a bigger one here. Might end up bending stuff and wrecking stuff more down here. So I mean, they got her set up perfect, I'd say. But I don't know, just a couple of things that it could have used. But I'm just trying to think now. That one and the crowd cylinder, which they call this one in the middle here, would be the two that would get the most use. So but I found it seemed to work digging really good if, you know, I revved the frick right out of her, like going full tilt damn near, you know, and just screaming. But everything's so, you know, ooh, it's going all over the place, you know. I kind of don't really like run it like that, but normally I don't run it that fast. But it seemed to work a lot better for it if, you know, to rip through the frost and stuff. And oh man, I don't know, it just felt like to me like it was going to explode itself and start ripping things apart back here. But so far it's held up. Maybe I've been babying it too long or something. I don't know. But yeah, who knows. But anyways, that seemed to work pretty good. Still got a couple of leaks, and I can see, I don't know, it's about the right spot, I'd say. Oh boy. Actually, you know what? That looks like a coolant leak there. I think I know what that is too. That's that stupid, whatchamacallit, heater plug thing there. You plug in, I bet you that's leaking. It's a real nightmare and hard and almost impossible to get into it though, because there's like steel lines that like run right in front of it. So, oh man, I might have to take it out again. Oh, I'm not going to like that too much. I'd like to get in there and have a look at it, because I think even just sitting there, it's maybe, I think it's actually up here more. I don't know. Let's put the loader arms up here and just have a look down inside. Well, doesn't look wet down there, but I think it has been leaking. I'm trying to think of now how I put that in and I sealed it. It's such a hard spot to get into. You know, if you took this whole entire manifold off, you might be able to get a wrench down in there, but I really don't want to take the manifold off of this guy to get a wrench down there to turn that thing even tighter. But I don't know where Buddy tested his things here. It looks to me like none of this has been disturbed at all here. So I don't know. Maybe there's a testing port somewhere that I don't know of, but I don't know. I'm a little concerned more than anything, but I guess I'll have to keep an eye on this heater here. That's him right there. And you just cannot get in there between these stupid steel lines here. I got her, I figured, as tight as I could have got her in there, but geez, I guess if worse comes to worse, I might have to pop that manifold off of there, the exhaust manifold, and then I should be able to get down in there more to crank it. All the pipe and everything would have to come off too, which I think, yeah, that would all come off with the manifold. I think it's sort of off in a bracket there and everything, so really don't like the looks of those bolts, but maybe they'd pop right out, no problem. And I probably have to replace the gasket under there after, so I'd have to get one of those ordered, because I don't think you'd put the old one back on that. So, oh man, I don't know. I don't know where this guy's tested his stuff here, but I don't know. There might be a port somewhere that like I say, I don't know about. I don't know, whatever. Well, if not more problems, there's more problems. And no, I don't mean this one. I mean this one. Oh, my wife was out this morning with it. Didn't say nothing about it. She just backed out of the driveway here now, put it in drive. Nothing. I'm like, oh. Now, transmissions is one thing I really know hardly anything about. They're a very big mystery to me. So, if you guys know about transmissions, I'll tell you what's going on here. Goes in reverse fine, backs up. She backed it back in the driveway here. If you put it down to first gear, it drives. Second gear, it drives. Third gear, like it's got 1, 2, 3 on the shifter, right? Third, it's like kind of not want to drive, and overdrive, like the normal drive, is nothing. Now, I know the fluid was down a bit, but it's not right out. Like it's down in the hatch marks. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's just a little low on fluid. I'm gonna go run and maybe grab some. But I said to ask my wife there, did you hear anything funny? Because normally if the transmission stops going like that, you usually something's gone funny or sounded funny. She's like, it kind of sounded like a bunch of chains rattling. I'm like, oh, that's maybe not too good. I don't know, maybe it's something with the overdrive clutch and stuff that's in there. Like I said, I don't know much about the transmission-y stuff, but I know there's a bunch of parts in there that if they're not all working bang on perfect, and she starts imploding on itself, you know, and little bits fall off of here and get jammed and wedged into that, and then this gets blocked off of here, and yeah, usually it's not a good scene after that. So I'll go get a bit of fluid maybe and top her up and see if that helps it at all. It's funny though, if it's low in fluid, transmissions are a sealed unit. That means it's leaking somewhere. And I'm not sure if that one has cooler lines on it or whatever, engine or transmission fluid cooler lines. Sometimes one of those will crack and split apart and then start everything out. I don't know. It's always had a bit of a engine oil leak on the one side, on the belt side. I don't exactly know what's doing that, but that car's 10 years old now, so that's it. I tell you, 10 years. After that, look the frick out, because she'll start costing you fortunes of money. So that kind of sucks, but that's why I changed trucks there, because that thing was just starting to cost more money and more money and more money. It's like there's no point in spending piles of money and you still got something old, you know. Like, it's probably what'll happen with this car if the fluid doesn't fix it, you know. Make it drive again. You know, if it's just low on fluid, that's fine. But you know, if I top her off there and it's still not wanting to go into drive and stuff, I don't know if it's probably still somewhat worth taking to maybe a transmission guy to see if what's wrong. But I'll tell you, get into transmissions and stuff, oh man, you can spend a fortune on transmission rebuilds and repairs. and they still may not be any good after that. So I've had transmissions fixed. I had one transmission fixed in a Dodge Dakota. We were on our way down to Florida. It blew just into Kentucky. It blew it just, actually the same symptoms that the car was showing there. We started going up a hill and just nothing. I'm like, oh, that's not good. I don't remember hearing any noises or anything like that. But luckily, we just started pulling up this hill and there's a rest stop right there. So I into the rest stop, stopped, let her cool down for a few minutes. We went in, you know, had a little break and stuff, and come back out and pulled the stick out. And oh yeah, she smelt pretty burnt up. So I wasn't too happy with that. And that was in Florence, Kentucky, which is just inside Kentucky. So we got her home, or got her into Mr. Transmission down there, which actually I just passed a Mr. Transmission we have here. We got her into Mr. Transmission, and they rebuilt that transmission, and I think it probably would have been cheaper if they had just replaced the entire transmission with an entire new one, because that transmission job cost me $3,500 US for a rebuild. And it took like a week and a half. Oh, we got to order parts in. Okay, order parts in. 4 or 5 days later. Okay, we got the parts in. We're going to start rebuilding it, tearing it apart, rebuilding it. Okay. Oh, crap, we didn't get the right parts. Okay, so there's another 4 days. Yeah, it was like a week and a half. It was stupid. So, anyways, got her rebuilt. Threw that on the Visa card. That pretty much screwed our vacation. We still went down because we were staying with people down there. Still went down and visited and stuff, and then drove home, and it was still a nightmare because it was leaking the whole way. We took off when they got it fixed, figuring everything was good. Got like 300-400 miles down the road, stopped for gas. I looked underneath and it's like a great big puddle of stuff dripping from it. I'm like, what the frick? So I called them up, and they're like, oh, maybe the gasket got a little tore when they put the pan gasket on and they tighten it down. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I went into the gas station there and bought, like, you know, 5 gallons worth of fluid. And kept driving. That really sucked because we had to stop like every 100 mile just to check it and top it up again. And we're like 1900 miles from Florida here, where we were going in Sarasota down there. So it really sucked. And we get down there, and then there was another Mr. Transmission down there in Florida, that because it's nationwide. So they're like, yeah, bring it in. So we brought it in. He's like, oh yeah, that's probably just the pan gasket. When they put it together, it maybe had a little tear in it or something. It didn't seal up right. I'm like, okay, whatever. So he replaced that or whatever. Yep, it's good to go. Come pick her up. I'm like, okay. So we went and picked her up. Drove back to their place, and which was like a 20-minute drive. By the time I got back there again, it's peeing out and dripping everywhere again. I'm like, holy crap, are you kidding me? And so I called the place in Florida again there, and he's like, dude, this thing's like still leaking like all over the place. What the heck? He's like, oh, I don't know. You're gonna have to get it back to the guys that did it, because we don't really know. We couldn't find anything else wrong with it. I'm like, okay. So back after vacation, which really sucked. Back we go, and we had to stop like every 100 miles again and top it up and fill it up again, you know, and keep her, you know, you don't want her to run dry because that's really bad, especially on a transmission system. Rebuild all new bits and pieces in it. So I get her back to Florence, Kentucky there, and he's like, oh, well, it's probably the pan gasket. I'm like, dude, you've replaced that pan gasket twice already. It's not the pan gasket. Have a freaking look at it. So I don't know what they did, but I'm like totally fed up by this time. So I'm like, okay, just whatever. Get it back together. I'm going to freaking drive her home. Be done with this stupid thing. So from Florence to, well, my house is probably about 600 mile maybe, roughly. So I just drove her through. I think I checked her once or twice maybe on the way home, and that was it. And I actually got it back to our Mr. Transmission here, and he's like, oh, it's probably just a pan gasket leaking. I'm like, really? This is like the 5th time that's been replaced. And yep, sure enough, they did whatever. I brought her home, parked it overnight, went out and looked the next morning. Oh yeah, there's a big puddle under it again. I'm like, what in the frig is going on here? So I went and got like 6 cans of brake cleaner, cleaned her all off, you know, had it dripping everywhere, cleaned all the oil because it was all splashed up everywhere. You couldn't tell where it was leaking, right? From the wind blowing underneath and splashing it up. So I cleaned everything off. I took it for like a 5-minute drive, parked it. And the next day I came out, or the next couple hours after, I think even, I came out and looked. I'm like, oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me. It was leaking where the fill tube goes into the case of the transmission, right there. So there was probably some O-ring or a gasket or something that maybe had a tear, or they didn't put it back in, which I would be thinking happened. They didn't put her back in before they put the tube in, and then, you know, filled her up, which goes, of course it's going to leak past there because the fluid fills up to there, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I cleaned it all off again, real super good. I got a half a tube of silicone, gooed up all around that thing, nice and high and thick and juicy and stuff. Love my silicone. The silicone's awesome. Let her harden up for a couple of days. Drove her for hour and a half. Come back, parked it. Checked the next day. Not even a drop. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? You guys put me through this and you couldn't even have figured out where it was leaking. I'm like, wow. So that right there, that little story has been a very big factor to me why I really try not to take my vehicles places to get it fixed if there's something that I can't absolutely do myself. Brakes, brake lines, you know, stuff like that, right? I'll do all myself. The only thing I won't do is fuel lines. I'll take it somewhere to get fuel lines done, but just because of that experience there is why I don't take my vehicle to places to get it fixed unless it's something that I can't do, like I say. Or anything transmission-wise, like I say, if this doesn't fix it, then that'll be the end of the Buick. We'll just freaking scrap her and find her something else to drive because there's no point in putting money into a 10-year-old vehicle that's, you know, it's got 170,000 kilometers on it, which really isn't a lot. But that car has also been through like 3 sets of brakes since we've had it. I can't remember how many K on it when we had it, when we got it. It's had like 3 sets of brakes on it. It's had 4 calipers. Replaced the calipers once on it. It's had all the bearings, and I think the front bearings done twice. So the rear bearings are done once. The fronts I think have been both done twice. Got some electrical issues in it too. Stupid little things. Just over sophisticated. Really. What else is it done? A lot of stupid things. Sometimes the fuel gauge will stop working, but if you unhook the battery for about 5 minutes and then hook it back on, it works fine. It's one of the electrical things. Just stupid things, you know. So I'm really getting this close to getting fed up with it and sending her down to the friggin' crusher. I don't know what they'll do with it, but there's been other little things too. I just can't think off the top of my head. It's had a lot of electrical issues though, like with the power seats and stuff. Man, the one resettable fuse in the one panel there, it gets like just smoking red hot. And I don't know why it's doing that. Something's screwed up with the electrical on that. I don't know. I didn't really get into it. I just unplugged the Dewey and like just drive it. You know, it just ticked me off so much. So this car has like ticked me off so much. Like I say, I'm that close to get the frick out of my way. You know, we'll get you something else. So But anyways, I'll go and get a bit of fluid here and see if that will relieve it for this time. And I guess we're gonna have to start looking for something different, something else. I swear, in Canada, if your vehicles get to the 10-year mark, you're lucky. If they get past 10 years, you're even more lucky. But if you get her and run her for 5 years, get rid of her and get something else. I swear cars nowadays are meant just to get through the warranty period, which is usually 3-4 years. And after that, sorry, you know, after that it's borrowed time. But holy crap, I don't know. It's just the crap we drive into. It's horrible up here, you know, all the salt and all the brine and all the crap and garbage and stuff. But anyways, I'll go get some fluid for it, and I'll wait until maybe tomorrow to add it in. I want to see what your guys' opinions are on it, about it first, and what you think transmission-y wise, why it would be doing that, if it's just low in fluid or if there's some major problem. Like she did say she heard like chains rattling, so I'm like, oh, that could have been it just running out of fluid. That could have been also something catastrophically falling apart, but like I don't know if it would still drive in first and second gear kind of thing, right? Which it sort of seems to do, but you can't drive it in second gear. You'll burn the crap out of it for sure then, so. And yeah, it wasn't too long ago, if you're wondering, it wasn't too long ago, I did a video on changing the fluid and filter, and that it probably is due again, but somewhere it's leaked out too, so I don't know. Well, I'll have to investigate maybe a little bit when the weather gets a bit warmer, if this will kind of temporarily fix it. But anyways, I'm gonna go get fluid and we shall be back. Well, I thought I'd throw a bit of fluid in her and see if that helped. It did absolutely nothing. So I think she's got something wrong with the transmission. It wasn't making any funny noises. I put it in gear and it would just kind of like it was in neutral, right? So yeah, it's not so too good. So I don't really know if I really want to spend any money really on it. I mean, the body's starting to rust again. I fixed it last fall there. Starting to go again in some places. The paint's peeling off, lifting off. I mean, it's small stuff, but all these small things cobble into one great big thing, you know. And I'm getting tired of fixing things again, you know, such as cars. Hence why I traded my truck. But it looks like we're gonna have to do a car. I looked at the odometer and there's 171,000 kilometers on it, which, yeah, it's really not much, but it's also 10 years old. You got to remember that. If it was only 3 years old, 170,000 on it, I'd see, you know, a little different. But 10 years old, that's unfortunately the bad thing. Now, the only thing that's good for this car is all the brake lines are plastic coated, so I should never have to do brake line on it. Never have, and they're all plastic coated, so which is one saving thing for this thing. But there's a lot of things starting to go wrong, you know, like I was saying, those engine oil leaks. I've put so much into it too. I'm tired of putting stuff into it. Thermostat was a nightmare. I had to put in this. Brakes, like I was saying, it's a normal nightmare. Oh geez, there's other things. It's been burning gas like crazy, like a lot. So I don't know, I'm getting tired of fixing it and working on it, and I think it's time to go. So anyways, I don't know what we're gonna do. I got a cousin that'll take it, of course, for scrap value weight, which, you know, it's, I don't know, it's probably worth a little more than that, but I don't know, we'll have to see. I'll talk it over with my wife, see what she'd like to do. She just wants something that drives, she said, but you know, well, yeah, obviously it's not much good sitting here, so I don't know, we'll have to think about it. But anyways, I guess that's it for today. I'm a little bummed about that, but you know, it happens. It's 10 years old. It's had a lot of driving. It's been to my sister's place on the East Coast 3 times. So that's basically 6 trips there and back. That's been pretty good. She's had, I think there was like 70 on it when we got it. So we've maybe put 100,000 on it since we've had it. I can't really remember now how much was on it. It's fogged my memory. But anyways, ooh, dark, sorry. You have to look at the brick. But anyways, yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. I might get her something bigger, like a crossover or something. I don't know. It all depends on the money too, right? So, oh, cars. They're great until they break, and then they're crap, right? You love it until they break, and then they're junk, freaking stupid things. But oh man, we'll have to figure out something. Oh yeah, I've had to do the exhaust on that thing. The resonator pipe went in it, so I switched that. There's so many other things, I can't even think about it. So stupid. A lot of stupid things. But anyways, that's it for today. Tomorrow, I don't know what we're getting into. Sunday. Sunday. Holy crap, where am I going? Thursday. Wow. Oh, I got this stupid car in the brain and it's really ticked me off. But anyways, we'll catch you tomorrow. I don't know what we're doing. Maybe a big mismatch match about what we did today kind of thing too, right? Mismatch. Something like that. But anyways, have a good night. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.